You have 2 more minutes to schmooze. 2 more minutes. Then you all must become very good Jews at that point. God. That's all good. When we first came back to the sanctuary, we only have like 10 people a night, I would stack them along the centers so the camera would pick them up and it would look like more people. Yeah, you can do that. It works. Oh. That's like the baseball stadiums. Yeah. The blending of worlds.
And then people wanted to be there, so it worked.
Yeah. Well, it's like phantom fundraisers. Everyone could grab a seat. As you can tell from the countdown timer, we're going to begin in 23 seconds. And Wayne, you're right in the camera view, so you either need to sit or... This is the nicest part of being online. We actually start on time. Exactly. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I was just saying we have our countdown timer going, and the nice thing about also being on Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, and our website is we actually start on time. We used to always start 10 to 15 minutes late. Now I get 10 to 15 extra minutes to talk, so it's perfect. So this time of year, we need to be thinking about, well, actually participating in social action. And at Kol Tikva, we do a lot of social action, especially once we come back for the High Holy Days. We do our annual food drive, we do Mitzvah Day, soon we'll be doing our toy drive. And the idea of social action, because tonight we are focusing a bit upon it, the idea of social action is we need to help people with their housing, with their food needs, with their hygiene needs, and with their medical needs. And so when we come together in celebration, when we come together and we see plates of cheese and crackers already out in our social halls and cakes and pastries afterwards, we have to realize that a lot of people don't have these kinds of things just sitting around. We need to think about how we can reach out and help others. How do we help them with food, with the upcoming holidays, with toys, with clothing, with whatever we can do? And in the past, we've done a great job with all of our collections, but it's always good to be reminded of the needs of others and try to help. In Leviticus, in Vayikra, we read, "And when your brother will become poor, you will extend your hand to him or her." It doesn't say if your brother becomes poor. It says when. And the idea is that we all have a low point in our lives. There are points when we are doing great and we can reach out our hand. And there are other times when we are low, when we need help, and someone reaches out their hand to us. But the trouble is often we don't see the hand that is being offered. And we also have the problem that sometimes we offer our hand and it is not seen. We have to make sure that when our brother or sister becomes poor, when they are emotionally in a bad place, when they're lacking physically or economically, we need to reach out and say, we are here for you. And then we also need to keep our eyes open for when we are in a negative place to see that hand that is being reached out to us. And in terms of reaching out hands to help, we have Many Mansions President Rick Schroeder joining us tonight. Many Mansions is a charity our social action chair, Karen Kalin, introduced us to about a year ago. And Rick is going to join us later tonight up on the Bima and share some thoughts with us. So at this moment, though, we need to enter Shabbat. So I want everyone to sit up nice and straight if you can. And if your feet actually touch the floor, let them touch the floor. If not, they can just dangle there. And I want everyone to take in that big, deep breath that welcomes in Shabbat. And let it out. And all those stresses that you have felt this week, breathe them in and then let go of them. Deep breath in. Hold on to it and let it out. And now with this breath in, think about the happiness, the joy of the upcoming Shabbat and Thanksgiving holidays. Deep breath in. Hold it and let it out. We turn to page 130 in our book for L'chu Naranana. Cantor Orly.
If you know this or anything tonight, join me. L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana l'Adonai. L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana l'Adonai. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yishenu, Nekad Mafanav Vetoda. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. Everyone ready? L'chu Naranana. Ranena, L'chu Naranana l'Adonai. L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana l'Adonai. One more time. L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana l'Adonai. L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana, L'chu Naranana l'Adonai.
138 for L'chado Di. L'chado Di is that melody we sing every Friday night. It's our way of welcoming in the Sabbath bride. And we go and we greet her just as she comes over the horizon as the sun sets. We greet her and invite her into our homes and into our hearts. And she joins us over this Shabbat, giving us peace and love and kindness and relaxation. So we are on page 138. We'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, rising on that last verse.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor bedibur echad. Hishmianu elam yeyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem u'tiferet veliti la 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 lecha dodi likrat li. Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha. Ki hi mekor haberacha. Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh v'machsheva tehi la la la. Your turn. Likrat li. Penei penei Shabbat nekavela lecha lecha doiti likrat kala penei penei Shabbat nekavela hitoreri kiva orech tumi uri shidaberi kevod Adonai alayich niglalale. Good. Penei Shabbat nekavela lecha lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekavela.
Besides inviting in the Sabbath bride. Oh, we have one more verse. I'm forgetting about something. That's how I'm doing. Let's all rise and face the back door. I'm ready to move into my next introduction.
Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala gam v'simcha u'v'tzola toch emunei המסגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה let's clap ready לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. Can I do my intro for Shalom Aleichem now? Yeah, that would be a good thing to do now. You know, they teach you in sports, first catch the ball, okay? Don't start running yet. And I think I started running at that moment. So we now move to page 142 for Shalom Aleichem. And Shalom Aleichem is where we welcome angels into our presence. And we do this every Shabbat. Unlike the Sabbath bride, though, these angels, they come, they bless us, and then they leave. They're a limited number of angels, and they seem to go from home to home, house to house, synagogue to synagogue. And so we call out to them and we say, please come, visit us, come bless us, and then they depart. So page 142 for Shalom Aleichem.
La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Join me, ready? Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lai la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Barchuni l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon Mimelech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzitchem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon Mimelech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lai, really loud, ready? Ya la la Ya Good. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la
If you're a past president of Temple Kol Tikva, I'd like you to come forward to light our candles. I see at least 3 past presidents, not current or future, just past. Laureen, you are a past president too. Am I missing someone? Was my count off? Come on forward and light our Shabbat candles for us tonight. We have 1 current president, and we have a future president in our midst. But just those who have already done their duty to the temple. If you guys could light our candles. As these candles are lit, the Sabbath bride who we sang to just a few moments ago crosses through this gateway that's designed by these 2 candles. And she crosses and literally becomes one with us for the next 24 hours. Please light the candles.
Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu leadlik ner vetzivanu leadlik ner vetzivanu leadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, 3, for all you've done for our community. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Sorry, what? They just said, and they all like each other. It's like they're going through the same prison camp together. You all like each other afterwards, too. That experience. So in chapter 18 of Genesis, we have a story that relates really directly to helping others and also to the upcoming Thanksgiving. Because in chapter 18, and for those of you who are at the board meeting, I just was recently sharing this story with you, so I do apologize for that. But in chapter 18, we have Abraham. We have Abraham sitting by his tent in the middle of the day. And the day before, he had surgery. He had circumcised himself and all the men who were with him. He wasn't in a very good mood or feeling very well that day, as you can expect. And there he was, sitting in his tent, probably watching his TV set, enjoying his air conditioning. Well, he sees 3 men in the distance. And what does he do? He doesn't think, what idiots, what are they doing? And then asks his wife for more lemonade. No, he doesn't do that. He doesn't think about his comfort. He doesn't think of name calling. What he does is he jumps up and he runs towards these 3 strangers. In the heat of the day, 3 people who are not wise enough to know what to do on a hot day in the desert or on a hot day in Tarzana. And so what happens? He says to them, please come to my tent. Let me give you food and water. Let me bathe your feet. And he has to convince them to come into his tent. And they come. And he does everything he has promised. He doesn't realize they are angels, but at the end, they tell him that a miracle will happen. They tell him that Sarah will have a son. This teaches us about how we are supposed to act when someone is in need. We don't wait for someone to say, hey, I need help. Come help me. Look at me. No, we're supposed to see the need and rush after it. It can be a 110-degree day. We might have had surgery yesterday, but if we see someone who is doing something where they could possibly die, like wandering through a desert, we need to take action. And I think we often forget this. We often forget this lesson. And in Hebrew, this lesson is called Haknasat Orchim, which means helping the stranger. And it's a key idea in Judaism, but I believe it's a key idea in most religions, perhaps every religion. Because helping others is a universal value that seems to be universally forgotten more often than not. So we have to remember, to be like Abraham. We have to know to look and not to be asked. Because often when people have to ask us for help, they're putting themselves in a place where we feel above them. But by going and reaching out before they ask, we are putting them on an equal plane, so they still retain their dignity. So in a moment, we're going to rise for the Baruch Hu. And I ask you, as you rise before God and all that is holy, how will you attempt to make the value of Haknasat Orchim, helping the stranger, a greater part of your life as we approach Thanksgiving? Let us all rise. We're on page 146 with the Baruch Hu.
Lai la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. Hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed.
Please remain standing. Let's take one hand and place it over our eyes. Let's feel our feet planted firmly on the ground. And next, let's sense that connection we have with all that is living, because the Shema talks about the unity of oneness, the unity of all. It talks about our interconnectedness. As we sing the Shema, let us think about those ideas. The Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
We continue with the Vahafta, found on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's turn to page 158 for the Micha Mocha. And the Micha Mocha is that song we sang after we crossed the Sea of Reeds. And our Torah teaches us multiple times when the waters split, the ground was dry. You would imagine that the ground would be muddy, very hard to walk through. But the Torah is explicit in making this statement: the land is dry. But even with dry land to walk across as you cross that sea, I always think about, the elderly who might have struggled over the ground that was uneven. I think about parents holding newborns who had a difficult time making it through the obstacles of where those waters parted. I think about those who have physical challenges. And I always then picture those who can help, how other Israelites would come to them and stand on either side and say, "Let me help you across." Because everyone made it across the sea. There's no part of the Talmud, there's no part of the Mishnah, there's no part of our Torah that says, "Oh, wait a minute, a couple people didn't make it for one reason or another." Everyone made it across. And we only made it across because we worked as a community helping one another. Are we still a community? Are we still people who help one another? Do we forget to take this action? Do we forget that we are connected to one another like the Shema teaches us? But if we can find a way to be a true community, then we can be like the Israelites, and we can sing the Mi Chamocha with a joyous heart, knowing how we all work together to cross that divide. Mi Chamocha, page 158.
So since we have no music, you are making the music. So I want everyone to go like this.
Ready? Yai lai 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 la 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 la. Yai lai 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 la 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 la. Yai lai 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 yai lai la la. Yai la la la. We're gonna speed it up a little. Ready? Yai lai. 1, 2, 3, and mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Ma'achutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu ve'ameru, ze Elianu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed.
Let's open our books to page 162. We're going to do some group reading. So we're in the middle of page 162, and I need everyone helping me read the translation of Vishamru. The middle of page 162. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Vishamru.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. Join in, ready? Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. It repeats the same words. Ready? Veshamru בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. As loud as you can, ready? ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We turn to page 371 for the Misha Berach prayer. We say the Misha Berach for those who are ill of mind, body, and spirit. I'd like to remind everyone that we clear this list every 3 months. We cleared it a week ago, so if there's a name of someone that you would like to have put back on the list, please call the office on Monday. Currently on our Misha Berach list, Wayne Shaw, Ronnie Rothstein, Debbie Schwartz, Dina Leiker, Alex Avlas, Joan Sietzma, Michael Ray, Joseph Ray, David Berger, Gloria Katzman, Abby Rapport, Sandy Glauber, Hinda Greenberg, Renee Ross, Joyce Rubel, Ron Jacobs, and Joyce Stern. We also think of those suffering in the Ukraine, those injured due to border challenges, those healing from all too frequent gun violence, those affected by terrorist attacks and environmental challenges, and all those who care for the ill, for they too deserve a prayer. If you have an additional name for our Misha Berach list, please share it with me now. Misha Berach Avatenu V'imatenu. May the God of our ancestors grant our refuah shlema to all those named this evening and to all those we hold in our hearts. And together we say, Amen. The singing of Misha Berach, page 371.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach imotenu Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
In a moment, we're going to begin our Amidah prayer. I want to point this out. I usually do this during B'nai Mitzvah services. I don't do this often enough on a Friday night. You should know that for most of this book, the right-hand side pages, the pages on the right-hand side, are the traditional prayer. And the ones on the left are actually creative interpretations. And so often, if you aren't familiar with the book, you think you need to read both sides. You can either read either side or both or mix. But just realize if you want to do the traditional prayers, you're reading from the right-hand side. Creative interpretations on the left. We're going to rise now, page 164, for the Amidah. You can be on the right or the left right now.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula, Livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'alam Adonai, mechaye hakol atah, Rav lehoshia, Mashiva ruach umorida gashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'gevurot umidomelach, melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim bechol yom, yechalelucha sela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We continue silently through page 180. When you're done with your silent prayer, you may be seated.
Adonai tzuri v'goli. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you. Oh Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom bimroma. Huya ose shalom aleinu. Ve'kol Israel. Ve'imeru, ve'imeru. Amen.
It's my honor to ask our board member in charge of social justice to come forward, Matt D'Alessio, to introduce tonight's guest speaker. Make sure you speak.
There we go. Get it from my height here. Okay. Well, I think all of us, as we walk around these days, we see on our streets that we need to do something about homelessness. And there are many people out there that are working on that. Many people go around advocating, saying that the best way to solve homelessness is with a home. And that is a part of things that our speaker is going to tell us about, but that's not what his organization is only about. There are also people out there that know that if we need to get a home for everybody, that we need to build more homes. And there are people making lots of money doing that. That is also not quite what our speaker does. He comes from an organization called Many Mansions, and they are, like our temple here, they draw from LA County and Ventura County. And what do they do there? They help build, buy homes for people, and then support them while they're there. They don't just leave them in those homes. And so last year, our mitzvah of us got to visit one of their sites where they have a wonderful apartment complex, and we got to experience what they do there. I got to help pack bags for their kids that are living in those houses that they have. They run tutoring after school for those kids. They run a summer camp for them. And this is basically trying to deal with this problem, helping people that are needing a leg up, giving them all the resources that they need. And so that's what this organization does. Now, I know a little bit less about this president of this organization, Rick Schroeder, who's here to speak to us, but I do have some information about him in front of me here. So first of all, he has been the president of Many Mansions for now 20 years plus, so since 2002. So this is obviously, yes. This is not only an organization that's good, it's somebody that's committed to this organization. I believe before he was president, he was also on their board and did other things. Is that so? He's even longer in his commitment to this. He's got a law degree from UCLA here, a business degree from Wisconsin, and has been working in Ventura County with their mental health board, the Housing and Homelessness Commission, and the County and Community Health Improvement Collaborative. So he's very involved in all sorts of ways of getting people the things that they need in Ventura County, and they've expanded here to LA County. They're opening up, have you opened up your new facility in Sylmar yet? Not yet, but very soon. It's beautiful. You can go up there. It's got a view out over Hanson Dam, and they're providing a great place for people. So please, everybody, join me in welcoming Rick Schroeder to our bima here to tell us what they do.
Thank you, Matthew. And thank you for inviting me to speak to your group tonight. It's quite a privilege and quite an honor to speak to such an energetic and socially active group. Many Mansions is a nonprofit, affordable housing and service provider. And we develop affordable rental housing, especially for those individuals and families experiencing homelessness. Now, homelessness has been in the news lately. It was a major topic of our recent elections, but it's been a topic for many years, among others, among other nonprofit groups, government agencies, social service agencies, faith-based organizations, and social action committees. As most of you know, homelessness is growing in Los Angeles County. According to the last homeless count, there were over 65,000 persons who were homeless, and 46,000 of them were what we call unsheltered, those living on the streets. And over the years, our homeless population has become not only larger, but more visible when our brother becomes poor. So tonight, I'd like to discuss what Many Mansions' role is in addressing the issues of homelessness. There are 5 key roles in addressing homelessness: street outreach, interim housing, housing placement, permanent supportive housing, and on-site services, case management. Well, street outreach is going out in the streets and in encampments and contacting those who are homeless, providing some basic services and needs, but really getting that person's data registered in the county's homeless database. From there, hopefully, that person can go into some type of interim housing, which is some type of temporary housing, an emergency shelter, hotel, or some kind of tiny home village, which are being developed here in Los Angeles, maybe you've heard of. Housing placement is then taking that homeless person and matching them up to try to find a place for more permanent housing. The goal is to place that person or family into what's called permanent supportive housing, and that's where Many Mansions comes in. Our role is to develop and manage permanent supportive housing. That is affordable housing with on-site services for those individuals and families who have experienced homelessness. We are a nonprofit organization. As Matthew mentioned, we were formed 43 years ago in the city of Thousand Oaks, and our mission is to develop or renovate rental apartment communities, apartments, for low-income households. And during this time, we have developed 20 apartment communities. 9 of our apartment communities are what's considered permanent supportive housing, with another 5 in construction. And that includes housing for homeless individuals and families, veterans, transition-aged youth, that is, youth who are homeless between ages 18 and 24, seniors. Almost all of our homeless residents are actually classified as chronically homeless, homeless for more than 1 year. One example is our supportive housing called Ormond Beach Villas, which is actually in Oxnard. It's a beautiful 40-unit apartment complex. It's supportive housing for veterans who are homeless, individuals and families. All of Many Mansions housing is considered affordable. That is, generally the resident only pays about 30 to 35% of their income. And eventually all of our residents, including our homeless residents, formerly homeless residents, do pay rent. We also provide on-site services. That includes on-site services for job development, life skills. At Ormond Beach, veterans benefits, healthy eating, socialization. And where there's children at our properties, we provide an after-school homework tutoring program, summer camp program, other enrichment programs for the youth. Recently at this Ormond Beach Villas, for Veterans Day, we had a flag retiring ceremony where we retired the flag that was waving. And one of our local companies hosted a pancake breakfast for those veteran residents. But we have several properties currently in construction, especially in Los Angeles. One is Summit View Apartments. Summit View is a beautiful 49 apartment unit complex in Silmar Terrace overlooking the Hanson Dam. Construction is completed, and we're ready to open this property in December. And we're currently interviewing applicants that are referred to us from the Veterans Administration for that property. The services will be provided by the Veterans Administration and LA Family Housing. Another property under construction is called Sun King Apartments. That's an apartment complex being built in Sun Valley. That's expected to be completed in March 2023. And that's 26 units for homeless, chronically homeless families. And indeed, several years ago, we were talking to the Los Angeles School District in that particular area, and they came to us and said that over 50% of their elementary school kids have experienced homelessness already in their life. And they asked us, can't we build more housing for families that are homeless? And sure enough, there was a lot near the high school, and that's what we're doing. It's housing for families who are chronically homeless. Our La Guadalupe development is our Boyle Heights supportive housing development, also in construction. That's going to be 44 units for individuals who are homeless. It's a mixed-use property. It's a beautiful apartment complex, 5 stories. The top 4 stories will be the residential units, and the ground floor will be devoted for commercial or retail use, and our current thinking is to put a restaurant or some type of food court there. It's on City of Los Angeles-owned land, so naturally during construction we found some contaminated soil, which slowed our construction down a bit, but it's back on schedule, and we hope to have this property completed in 2024. We have 2 other properties in construction in Ventura County. Rancho Sierra is going to be on county-owned land right outside Camarillo. It'll begin construction early next year. That will be 50 units for homeless seniors. Our senior population is our fastest growing homeless population. We're going to employ modular construction, so most of the buildings will be built off-site and then shipped and assembled on the site, in which we hope to save time in construction. Our other property that's in construction is called Central Terrace, which is in downtown Oxnard, again for chronically homeless individuals. It's being built on a vacant lot that actually at one time was a homeless encampment. So these are just some of the properties and projects that we're working on. We're working on other ones. As I said, what makes supportive housing is those on-site services. And we rely on our professional staff, outside service agencies, government agencies like the Veterans Administration, Behavioral Health, to provide those services. But we also rely on community support. Certainly we rely on financial donations to help support the programs, but also in-kind donations, toy drives, donated beds, furniture, food, other types of assistance for our residents, volunteers. We're always looking for volunteers to help us with our resident programs. Workshops. Many of our outside community members put on workshops for our residents, hosting events for them, property beautification, being part of our board of directors or board committees. So we're always looking for that community support. And if you're interested, please let me know. We would love to deepen our relationship with you. We give tours of our properties, as you know, at any time. And in closing, again, I want to thank you for this opportunity to talk with you, tell you a little bit about what Many Mansions' role in homelessness is. It's something that we're all concerned about. We all play a role in that. And I would love to stick around after service and answer any of your questions. But thank you.
All right. Thank everyone. First of all, thank you very much, Rick, for joining us here. And I've got a whole bunch of other announcements as well, including thank you to Rabbi John, Cantor Orly, for leading us through our service here. We've got Dave is making us sound good, and Rebecca's getting us streamed for everybody online. Hi, online. Wave to them. Let's see, some announcements. All right. The winter holidays are indeed coming up, and we are collecting toys, not in this case for many mansions, but for the West Valley Food Pantry, another great organization. Bring in new unwrapped toys to Temple Kol Tikva between now and December 16th or before. We're trying to get them as quickly as we can, as many toys in here as we can, so that we can get them to where they are needed in time. Next Tuesday, our trivia night. Join Wayne Schulman. Log on to test your knowledge about the Kennedys. Any Kennedy experts in the crowd? All right, Zoom link is going to be found on our website and in the Thursday newsletter when it comes out. And if you're in need of some food before then, on Tuesday night, our Tzedakah teens have teamed up with the Fresh Brothers Pizza for a full day of fundraising, help them raise money to combat gun violence. You can grab a flyer on the way out, or many of you got it on the way in. We also have a bunch of exciting Shabbats coming up. We've got our next Friday, our lay-led Shabbat after Thanksgiving. Tina is going to be leading us through that, and a whole bunch of other congregants participating. Also, we have coming up on December 2nd, Friday, join us for our campfire Shabbat with s'mores and song. Shortly after that, December 11th, Dreidel Fest coming up, our education fundraiser. That's our amazing holiday boutique and an intergenerational fashion show for the first time. So lots of yummy goodies coming up for that. Our Hanukkah community celebration follows the next week, December 16th on Friday. We're getting in the spirit of Hanukkah. We're eating latkes, sufganiyot, and spinning dreidels. So we are also looking for sponsors for that. Help us offset the cost. All that fun does come at a price, so if you can help us out, please do. And also, Tzedakah this evening, speaking of helping out, is going to go, this says to West Valley Food Pantry, but we'll also support, if people are interested, you can talk to Rick and find out how to give directly to Many Mansions, to thank him and his organization for all the good work that they do. So thanks for joining us this evening. Our Oneg sponsors here, thanks so much to Carol and Herm Fisher in memory of Matthew Fisher, Bernard Fisher, and Ed Rubin. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rick, for your wonderful words and wonderful work. I hear so much about people who want to do something without actually accomplishing anything. And the level of your accomplishments, of your organization's accomplishments, is quite astounding. Because I know how hard it is to build in this city and how hard it is to help the homeless and how to do it on probably pennies. So thank you for your energies for the last 20 years. It's quite amazing. So we are on page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. We take a moment to remember those who have recently died and those who have died during this season and years past. On our recently departed list, Irving Greenberg, remembered by the Greenberg and Freed families. Gary Heller, remembered by the Spiro and Heller families. Anita Kappa, remembered by the Knudsen family. Sharon McAdams, remembered by the Branner and the McAdams families. We also hold in our prayers those taken by gun violence, those who have died of COVID and other diseases, those that have passed due to floods, fires, and other natural and unnatural disasters, and those killed in regional conflicts. The following are on our Yortzeit list: Herman Bein, Frieda Furman, Bernhard Fischer, Matthew Fischer, William Glassberg, Leonard Goldstein, Nancy Mann, Harry Marcus, Marilyn Mars, Cliff Medina, Hilda Michaels, Paul Nussbaum, Alvin Ryder, Ed Rubin, Isabel Silverman, David Tallman, Mildred Tallman, Ruth Vaccarino, Philip Wildman, and Dorothy Wiss. If you have an additional name for our Kaddish or our Yort site list, please share it with me now. If in the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, I ask you to rise. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim, I ask you to rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, I ask you to rise. If you're observing a Yort site, I ask you to rise. These are the mourners in our midst. We rise to show them our love and our support. We are on page 598. Yitkadal v'yikadash me Rabba, v'yamad divrach hirutei v'yamlech malchutei, v'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'galav izman karib v'imru. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarak leolam olamei amaya, Yit barach, v'yish tabak, v'yit ba'ar, v'yit roman, v'yit naseh, v'yit adar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shmei dekudsha, berechu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, chushbachata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, V'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace on high grant peace to all who mourn, to all Israel, and to all humankind. And together we say, please put your books to the side. Put your arms around one another if you know one another. If you're standing near someone you do not know, ask permission before you put your arm around them. And we will sing Oseh Shalom together.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Laura and Glenn, why don't you come forward to hold our Kiddush cup tonight? For those of you who don't know Laura, she is our president. More importantly, Glenn is the first husband. The first what? The first gentleman. I'm so sorry. He even has a name tag and I can't get it right. First gentleman. My eyesight's not that good. Hold that up really tall. We're going to do a short one tonight, I guess.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim.
Chaim. Yum, yum, yum. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
Shabbat shalom. Give someone a kiss, a hug. Wish them Shabbat shalom. Come get a piece of challah and then go get some oneg. You know what? I'm going to break this up into pieces real quick. So we don't get too many little hands on it.
He needs to touch every bite.
Yeah, but better.
Wash his hands.
I did. I actually just sanitized them.
I worry.
I'm breaking it up.